remote communities, and making sure that no one's left behind in this digital revolution that we're talking about. Community Pass focuses on rural smallholder farmers. So I would love to hear a little bit more about the agricultural sector, as we had a chance to talk about, for us, when we think about digital technology at MasterCard and through Community Pass, it's really about figuring out how can digital technology not only provide identities, but provide access to markets so that farmers can get competitive bids, how they can get access to authentic and pure inputs so that they know that the seeds that they're planting are real, that they get access to credit. The main thing that we're really focused on is taking that ecosystem approach, which I think we talked about. So one of the things that we're very proud of is we talked to you, Mr. President, about the MADE Alliance, the Mobilizing Access to the Digital Economy, which in Africa, which we announced at the call to action from Vice President Harris in May. We're proud to announce that now we're launching it in Kenya. And in fact, Community Pass, I should say, was actually innovated and developed in Kenya, and we exported it across the world. It's now live in 7 different markets across the globe. But very interested to hear more about your thoughts around digitization, specifically in the agriculture space or in the space of the smallholder farmer, and reaching those folks that are rural, that are more marginalized, that constitute over 7 million or close to 7 million inhabitants across Kenya. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A year and a half ago, we decided that we are going to distribute our fertilizer on a digital platform using e-voucher. We registered 5 million farmers, and every farmer today in Kenya has a voucher that gives them a government subsidy, and therefore they pay less what the government has subsidized on fertilizer. It is amazing. And in fact, I went to one of the depots to see. There is no cash. Everybody has come with their phone, with their voucher, and they are paying using a digital platform. It has done 3 things for our Kenyan farmers. It has increased efficiency, it has increased transparency, and today we have a record as government as to how much money we are going to pay, because we can easily reconcile the vouchers that have been given out by our depots from what the farmers have bought. And number 3, it has also given us accuracy that farmers are buying seeds and fertilizer that is certified by our KEFIS, the certifying agency in Kenya. So Peter here will tell you they worked with us on developing, again, the voucher framework with them, and many banks are part of that ecosystem. And I'm sure my good brother here from NCBA can confirm that the banking industry are now part of that ecosystem of working with us on that digital platform to be able to distribute fertilizer. One last thing is it's very interesting today on the predictability of weather. I mean, the simple gadgets that today are being used by farmers to know when to plant. They can predict up to a month of what's going to happen. And I find, even in my farm, that my farm manager can tell me we should plant on Tuesday next week because there will be rain on Thursday and Friday. And that really is phenomenal. This is something that has never been the case. So there is much more accuracy, especially in the context of climate change, on when farmers can plant, on when they can do the next step. And therefore, I would look forward to the rollout of the technology you have talked to me about, and hopefully we can build it into the ecosystem that exists at the moment.
Thank you, Your Excellency. last question we have from John Kachora of Kenyan Private Sector Alliance. We heard earlier from Jazz for KEPSA. John, where are you?
I am here.
I couldn't find you in the audience. That would be why.
Maybe what I'll do is make a couple of comments. When the president was speaking, there were a couple of questions regarding accessibility to finance from Adama and, of course, from the chairman, my former chairman, from ABSA. I'm also from ABSA, by the way, on financial reforms. I thought I would really mention two things. One is that Kenya has one of the highest financial inclusion rates in Africa at 86% as of last year. It's one of the highest in Africa. Beyond that, I think, is the question of what the government has done. I think one thing that perhaps is not talked out a lot, Your Excellency, is the effect of the Hustler Fund as far as financial inclusion is concerned. Quite often we measure financial inclusion in terms of transactions, and of course M-Pesa has done a very good job of bringing people into that. But I think really financial inclusion must have the other two components, which is savings as well as borrowings. And I think what Hustler Fund has done is bring the rest of the population that was doing transactions at M-Pesa but not being able to borrow and to save into that saving culture. So today I would say that number, I'm waiting for the next survey. I would say, Your Excellency, I'll be surprised if you're not over 90% in terms of financial inclusion. So really good job on that. I think the other comment that perhaps I would make is that obviously there was the news about Kenya getting grey-listed as far as Zambia is concerned. And I think what is, again, I would like to talk about is the reforms that the government has put in place to make sure that Kenya is on the global standard as far as AML and financing of crime is concerned. Parliament enacted a very strict law that really put us on a very global scale. If you look at our laws today, probably the best in the world as far as this AML issue is concerned. So really, those are the two reforms I want to talk about as being key things that the government has done. I think beyond that, the president has talked about the digitization of government services. I would say today, Kenya is a country where you can pay for everything to do with government on the digital line. Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are, you can get on it and make payments. And I think that really has helped, one, in terms of education, two, in terms of the use of AI, as the president has talked about. And the last one I would say, Your Excellency, is that I'm also a small-scale farmer. I have my voucher for fertilizers, so I want to say I'm living evidence. Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, John, I also have mine.
Thank you, John. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to thank President Ruto. Really, for such an engaging dialogue. I think a couple takeaways. One is all roads lead from ABSA, apparently, to Kenya. But really, just exciting to hear of the significant incentives that are being put in place in Kenya to support business. It's an exciting time to invest. I'd like to invite Peter Ndegwa, CEO of Safaricom, to come and give some brief closing remarks. And then we'll have a vote of thanks and bring our program to a close. Thank you, Peter.
Good morning, everyone. Let me try what John asked. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, I was waiting for His Excellency to sit. I don't start speaking before Your Excellency sits here. I might be in trouble. You know, I should say that Safaricom, which I work for, is one of the most successful privatization, where the government still holds 35%. So it's a very good private sector, a public-private partnership. And the reason I'm saying that is I have to behave because His Excellency is my shareholder. Yeah. So anyway, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, all protocols observed. Distinguished guests, good morning. I'm going to make a few comments, both as a key private sector player in the market of Kenya and also in the region. We've just gone into Ethiopia. A successful business in East Africa, Safaricom PLC, you'll have heard the President mention a few times, is the largest telecommunication business. We serve about 36 million customers in Kenya, almost basically the whole population. And also the pioneer of M-Pesa, which is the most successful mobile payment platform in the region, and actually I should say globally has set the standards, transacts about $1 billion every day. And actually the international money transfer, which is all the money the diaspora send to the country, is now just about $4.5 billion, of which about half comes from the US. So when the President, who is our Chief Marketing Officer, actually speaks about Kenya being a digital hub, it is actually true, and we have demonstrable local companies that are leading the way in the region. And we've just now gone into Ethiopia, where we are investing about $2.5 billion to start a new operation and also see another success with mobile money. So delighted to be here. It's been quite an engaging forum this morning. Thank you, Excellency, for marketing our country, and also all the other speakers who have spoken about and showcased Kenya. The private sector continues to actively contribute to the economy through job creation, technology and infrastructure investment, and community programs. And as we see at Safaricom, it's about not just technology, but using technology to provide solutions that solve societal problems, whether that is in healthcare, you'll have heard, in agriculture with the vouchering program, driving digital inclusion and also financial inclusion across the country. The private sector plays a vital role in accelerating the SDGs, and we are all here this week to talk about the SDGs, which we know are behind, and private sector plays a crucial role in this area, and SDGs are crucial for development. We will be participating in several stakeholder forums this week, where we will look at how best to approach key SDGs targets and follow up with commitments towards achieving them. As Kenya business leaders, we are privileged to have the support of our government, with the leadership of His Excellency William Ruto. When I listen to the President always speaking, we say no more. He is our Chief Marketing Officer who has enabled efforts to drive innovation and economic outcomes through a digital superhighway, which you'll have heard him speak about. The digital superhighway has created opportunities in streamlining government services, which has improved outputs and digitization of records. This has been facilitated by private sector investment in technology, some of which were mentioned today, and we are very happy to be involved. And this is broad partnerships between banks, technology companies, private sector players across the board. Our role as private sector has been to support digital transformation by investing in infrastructure, in financial support, and you'll have heard John speaking, and also in training. So I urge everyone in the room and potential investors in particular from the US to take this opportunity to invest in Kenya and to take cognizance of the digital revolution that is happening. As members of KEPSA, we are ready to support any engagement with the public sector and deepen private sector involvement in steering the economy forward. And very happy to be here, and thank you for your participation. Thank you very much this morning.
Thank you so much. I am here to give the vote of thanks, but let me also say that I spoke over the weekend with Carol Kariuki, who said she was so sorry she couldn't be here, and as a longtime partner with her, CCA and KEPSA, I just wanted to acknowledge that and acknowledge her work at KEPSA as well. So thank you so much, Your Excellency, for being here, for being a visionary leader, not just of Kenya, but of Africa. And please know that Corporate Council on Africa that focuses solely and exclusively on building trade, investment, and business with Africa is always here to support Kenya and your vision.
Hold it. Thank you very much. I know this is out of protocol, but I just thought of saying just one thing. Peter has spoken very eloquently about what we're doing, and that the government of Kenya is a shareholder in his. And when he mentioned shareholder, I thought about dividends. And he has said that I'm the chief marketing manager. You know, I have to really work hard because Kenyans set very high standards for me. I really have no choice. And good is not good enough. They only believe in excellent. So that's why sometimes, you know, when I'm doing something good, they still push me. Sometimes with a little demonstration here that you're not doing as much as we told you to do. But it just speaks to what we have to do. And as we do that in Kenya, and I have spoken to you broadly about the expanded Pan-African space. And I just thought that in our midst, we have our former Prime Minister, the Honorable Raila Odinga, who is gunning for the chair of the Africa Union Commission, because as a country, I lead the charge on reform of the AU, and there cannot be any better reform than having the correct leadership to drive the African agenda. And so I just thought of introducing Raila Odinga, our former Prime Minister. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and thank you, Flory. With that, we bring our conversation to a close. What a treat to have had these remarks from the President of Kenya, as well as this engaging dialogue with the business leaders, both within the U.S. and in Kenya. Thank you all so much. I'd ask if you could stand as the President and his dignitaries leave the room. Thank you so much.
New Downy Perfume Collection.
You have an opportunity to do many things as you do business in Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, let me lastly, I'm pleased to announce that Kenya will co-host the inaugural World Chamber Federation Africa Summit in Nairobi from April 9 to 11 next year, alongside the International Chamber of Commerce and the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. that is yet another opportunity for you to find a space where you will speak to the African business people combined with business people from across the world in one city and explore opportunities that will help us drive trade, investment, and many opportunities as we look into the future. Let me confirm to you one final thing, that Kenya is a robustly democratic country. You have no risk of anybody appropriating your business. We have a very strong judiciary. We have an accountable administration. We have a parliament that works. And we have systems that protect business and protect the rights of everybody. That is the beauty of running a democracy. It's not easy, as you know, running a democracy. But they say it is the most difficult, but a better one has not been found. So, and we are very proudly democratic. Sometimes it's noisy, but that's the beauty of democracy. It is like in church, you sometimes need a choir. So otherwise, thank you very much. Welcome to Kenya.
Thank you very much for those rousing and inspiring remarks, Your Excellency. You may all be seated. I had the pleasure of hearing His Excellency's remarks in Nairobi earlier this year as part of the African Development Bank's annual meeting. It was a Pan-African focused remarks, and we all left there so deeply inspired. For the Pan-Africanist sort of Africophiles in the room. It was a vision that was both inspiring, deliberate, thoughtful, about ways to think about imagining a new engagement for Africa. And similarly, we've heard such